I had a roofing company and an irrigation company and core apparel. So we had 3 businesses, and we were just trying to figure out ways to get people to stay working. We literally knocked on people's door, and we're like, hey, we do this, and we do this, and we do this, and if you need us to go to the dump, we'll go to the dump for you.
Yeah.
We were literally knocking on doors. And then when COVID happened, it's another big, event that we had to pivot, right?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Life Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. If you like to hear stories about people, about business owners, just about life in general, like and subscribe to this channel and tune in daily actually to see shorts. And then our podcast airs on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Today I'm stoked to have you here. Mike Alexander, owner of Standout Promotions. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
And we were just talking earlier, and we found out we graduated in the same year.
It was a while back, wasn't it?
Longer than I would like. But hey, I found out, and just in talking with you, you're an Idaho dude. Grew up in Mullen, Idaho. We found out that we graduated 88. You graduated from Mullen. I graduated from a little school that doesn't exist anymore called Falls Christian Academy. And we played each other. We didn't even have a football team. So we played each other. Our schools played each other in basketball, and I think the girls played in volleyball. But you were a football guy. Yeah. And so we know a ton of the same people. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And then you left Mullen, went to University of Idaho.
Yep.
Graduate school in Boise State. Is that right?
Went to graduate school at Boise State.
So that is as Idaho gets.
I know.
Come on. So part of the deal that we do on this podcast is just hearing people's stories. And so that's kind of just reference your story a little bit. Grew up in brothers and sisters. Talk to me.
I have 3 sisters, 2 older sisters, 1 younger sister, and a twin brother.
And your parents still live in Mullen?
Parents still live there. They've been in the same house for, I think, 54 years.
Wow.
So they're still there. My little sister was in New Jersey for a number of years, and she just came back to help take care of them. They're just
wow. So where does your family, the rest of your sisters live?
I have 1 in Kansas City and 1 in Seattle.
Okay, and then there's one back in.
And then now she actually left 2 of her boys in New Jersey, so she's got her 12-year-old up there in Mullen with her. He's in school. He's got a whopping 3 people in his class. He's one of 3 people.
Wow. So what's going on in Mullen? Is it growing or shrinking or staying the same, or what's going on?
It is shrinking. It's funny because I think we were the last big class that graduated, and I think we had like 48 people or something, which was pretty good size.
That is big.
Now they graduate like 6 or 7.
Yeah, my graduating class at Falls Christian, I think, was like 13. So it was definitely smaller. But yeah, I don't get into Mullen that much. I was kind of wondering how the other towns.
It's
working.
just still a mining town. The Lucky Friday's doing great up there. In fact, my brother, he was in law enforcement for 20-some years, I think, probably more. He was sheriff up there at one point, and when he lost his last election, he kind of did the Dave Smith route for a while, but he's up there now, and he'll probably stay up there. But yeah, I think there's about 150 miners up there still working. But a lot of those people don't live in Mullen anymore. They a lot of them want to live here where their houses are bigger and nicer. And
then commute.
Yeah, but Mullen's, it's doing pretty good. If you wanted to buy a place up there, it just shocks me how expensive homes are up there now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's not a lot of inventory. So
I think I hadn't been in Mullen in a long time. Obviously you drive through there or whatever. But last spring, my daughter and we went hiking went up to Lone Lake.
Yeah, Lone Lake.
So beautiful. Yeah. But I drove by where Lucky Friday was, and I saw just the parking lot was just full. And I had no idea that it was, back up and like functioning, but they must be like.
They're cranking it out. Yeah, with the price of silver. I don't know if you're following silver prices.
Yeah, I think
it was $90 last week.
Yep, I think last week I saw it like up at $90, which I think for a long time it was sitting right around $28, $29, $30.
I remember when it was just barely breaking $3.
Really?
And that's when you had the mines that are going, hey, it costs us more to get it out than So then they would have the closures, and that's kind of how we grew up there, where, you know, it was just really volatile industry.
Yeah.
My dad never wanted us to be in that industry because it's dangerous and because of the volatile, you know, just the layoffs. But yeah, they're cranking it out now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you ever know the Wilds, George?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because they were
From
miners.
Wallace,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I don't know. That just popped into my head, and I was
Yeah,
like,
the
wait a minute. Well,
Wilds.
you probably know the Wilds.
Yeah.
I'll say there was George, and then Tim and Steve. Delilah was my mom's youth pastor.
Wow.
Wait, I mean that's a while back, but a while back, yeah. So that's crazy. Yeah. There's more people we know.
I know. We could probably pick out a few more.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So let's see. You graduated from Mullen High School, Idaho. University of Idaho, Boise State. Then you came back up here. What was it like coming back here? Or why did you come back up here?
Well, I was just in a bad spot. I was just in a horribly bad spot. In fact, I look back on it and it's just, a series of nonstop selfish decisions, bad decisions that just led me to basically, I just lost everything. I moved back up. My brother actually offered to let me live in his basement. And I was just so broken that I couldn't figure out how to get my life together. I almost wanted to get it together like how you would write a business strategy. And I was actually down in Boise before I came up trying to figure out how to get my life on track with a whiteboard and Sharpie and dry erase. And my buddy was like, Mike, you just need Jesus. And my other buddy, he's like, oh, here we go. We're going to have to hear about Jesus from Aaron. And Aaron he's just like, Mike, that's the only thing that's going to help you. There's nothing here that's going to help you. And I kind of just put it on a shelf. When I moved up here, it was just months of brokenness. And I just remember the time I just cried out to God and said, God, if you're for real, I'm gonna follow you. I'm ready to start over. I'm ready to do life differently. I mean, I look at you going to Falls Christian, and I'm so envious of that because you were on a different path than I was. I was on a path of, just being selfish, and you were on a path of following the Lord.
Oh, dude, there's lots of selfishness in my life. That's for sure.
I think we all go through that. And I think as we get older, we have to catch ourselves and go, wow, am I doing things for me or for him? But that moment I cried out, I was like, two things are going to happen here. Either I'm going to be gone or I'm going to follow Jesus, and I'm going to try this route. And it's so crazy how my life changed. I got a job. I got a job at the Coeur d'Alene Press. I started asking people, hey, I'm trying to find a church. And I remember this lady, Brenda. I just love Brenda. She's like, oh, see that girl over there? She's the local Bible thumper. Go ask her.
If we can pause for a second, did you grow up in a faith family?
I grew up Catholic. I'm not going to hack on Catholics or anything, but I just never had that relationship. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I cracked a Bible ever.
Okay.
So I wanted, once I made that decision, I wanted some help. Like, how do I get into this? How do I learn more about it? And the Bible thumping girl thought I was trying to hit on her. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, you're a creep, man. And I was like, no, I'm just looking for a church. And I said, whatever. And I walked away. And later that day, she gave me the address of her church. And she said, well, here's the address and here's the church time. And I started going to church. And she's like, wow, he's really trying to find Jesus.
What church was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was in Post Falls. It's not there anymore. It was called Northwest Harvest. It was just a small church.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. And it was great because I was just so hungry, and I was reading my Bible, and I was asking questions, and I just remember talking to her, and I'm like, I just don't know if I'll ever be able to get back what I've lost. And she looked at me and she said, you're so stupid. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And she goes, you think God has a time clock like we do? If he wants you to have everything you lost, you can have it back in a year. And the funny thing is, in less than a year, I had everything back plus some.
Wow.
And it was she just really helped me with my walk. And we were just best friends. And then we ended up getting married. I mean, we didn't wait very long.
Oh, this is your wife?
Is my wife.
Holy
That's
buckets,
her.
that's crazy.
Yeah, she walked me through it. She still does. I mean, she's my prayer warrior. Whenever I am down, I go to her. I like to think that I'm there for her when she's going through stuff. But we went through a lot of stuff together in the last 20 years, and it's been great.
So married 20 years now.
Yep, this year's our 20.
That's
September
awesome.
It'll be 20 years.
That's so super cool.
Yeah.
So look at today, married 20 years, and then put yourself back to that time when you just came back up here from Boise State.
Yeah.
I mean, did you think your life would be like this?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I was one of those people that thought if I followed Christ, I had to give stuff up.
Yep.
You know, I kind of tell people now, because I mean, it's the Great Commission, right? We got to go save souls. I mean, that's my last chapter of my life, is like, I got to help people realize the importance of this. And I was thinking about this the other day, like, Lord, how can you help me to let people know that with you, your entire life is enriched? It's not like you have to, I think there's a misconception that we've got to give this up and this up and this up.
Big time.
And it's like, no, I mean, when we're going through the sanctification process, we want to give that up, right? Because we want to be sanctified. We want to be like Jesus. So we just freely give that up. But everything that we're given is just, it's just so great. I think of times where we've had we're like, I don't know how we're going to pay the bills this month. And we just give it to God, and he just makes a way. And I don't know how we're going to get our kids into the Christian school. I don't know how we're going to pay for it. We just always give it to God. And it's just unbelievable how with our obedience, he just continues to bless us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. My daughter is 18 and my son just turned 16. And the great thing is they are following Jesus. Reagan, she is in Nicaragua today. She got there last week. She's there doing a mission. She's working with little kids. And it was kind of scary because she told me, hey, Dad, so they outlawed Bibles in Nicaragua. You can't have a Bible.
Yeah.
You can't have it on your phone. And she was showing me how they're teaching these kids about Jesus with different symbols. And a lot of people are like, are you worried? And I'm like, no, I'm not worried. I just have this peace about me because I know she's just covered and she's out there doing God's work. And my son, tonight he's got to make a decision on whether he's going to Latvia this summer to do a mission over there. And, they just have a heart for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's so good. So, I mean, all I want my kids to do is follow Jesus. Everything else will fall into place if they do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I see because I've got 5. I'm 27 down to 16, and I see some of the decisions that they make. And obviously you see decisions your kids make, and you're like, you knucklehead. But then I see decisions that they make, and I'm like, dude, how come I wasn't that smart when I was that age?
I know.
I was more of a knucklehead than they are. So it's crazy. Well, I also wanted to talk about, because you've been basically in business, an entrepreneur. Like after that time at the press or whatever, you've been an entrepreneur for now like 20 years, is that?
Well, the funny thing is, I've always had the bug,
Yeah.
When I was 19, I was going to school at NIC, and I started a business here in Coeur d'Alene. It was a bakery at 19 years old.
Come on, what'd you make?
Yeah, it was up on Government Way. We did everything from pies to bread to...
Really?
And it was me, and I had a couple of bakers in there, and I didn't know what I was doing. And sure enough, about 3 months later, I was out of business. And it was a good learning lesson. But yeah, I just always had the bug. And when I came back up here, it's funny how I got into business. I put in a sprinkler system for my brother, and then his in-laws said, hey, will you put one in for us? We'll pay you. And I'm like, yeah. And then the neighbor saw me, and I kept buying all these parts at this place over here in Coeur d'Alene. And the guy's like, you know how much of a discount I could give you if you were a business? And then I'm like, well, I might as well set up a business. And then about 3 months later, I had 14 full-time people working for me.
Holy Toledo.
Yeah, so we were just
crazy.
cranking out. That's all we did. We just
do you still do that, or?
Well, I don't, but I sold that business. And then right before COVID, I was going to a church in Spokane and just loved the pastor, Pastor Vince Schott, awesome guy. And he said, hey, look, I got a word for you. And I said, what? And he goes, you're supposed to get back in the sprinkler business. And I'm like, oh, man.
Like recently?
Well, that was in 2020, I think.
Okay.
2019, maybe. And I was like, yeah, I really don't want to do that. And Jen, my wife, says, is that what you think, or is that what God told you? And he goes, that's what God told me. it was funny because we owned Standout at that point and we were doing fine, but I wanted to be obedient. So I partnered up with an old friend that I had and we started cranking out sprinklers. Well, then COVID happens. Standout just gets annihilated because, I mean, we were selling T-shirts to like schools and, you know, the United Way Fun Run and all that, and everything was canceled. So the valve was shut off completely, but the sprinkler business just, we were so busy, we were booked out for months. And I was like, wow, God wanted me to do this because this was the provision he was giving me.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I'm like, wow, because I did not want to do it. I dug my heels in. I tried to find a way out of it. I was kind of like Jonah, you know, I was like, no, I don't think I heard that. But I ended up being obedient and it was great. And I did it with my partner for years until my knees kind of are shot, you know, getting old. And I said, hey, you want to buy me out? And he bought me out. And now I'm back at Standout full time.
Well, here's the deal. I probably need to talk to your partner because I need some sprinkler work. So remind me after this podcast because that's why I was like, well, you sprinkler work?
Yeah.
I've got just a mess going on.
Oh, we did just a lot of sprinklers.
Yeah.
It was funny because the joke was, you know, my parents always told me if I got an education, I wouldn't have to dig ditches my whole life. I was still digging ditches. I'm still digging them.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about being an entrepreneur is it's like, well, I'm in business, but that just means that you're a janitor, you're an accountant, you're an attorney, you're an HR person, you're a
funny. Last week at Standout, I'm like, wow, these toilets are disgusting. No one else is going to clean them.
No.
So I'm in there on my hands and knees scrubbing toilets, and I'm like, this is what we do.
It is, and the reality is, it's what you do because obviously you want it done. You know, you want it to be nice because it's your business. Mm-hmm. But it's also, if you don't do it, you have to hire it.
Exactly.
And the reality, you know, I mean, at least while I was in business, it's like, well, wait a minute here. I'm going to hire this out or I'm going to do it. And a lot of times I'm going to do a better job than if I hire it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be way cheaper because it's my labor.
Wow, you and I are cut from the same cloth, man. I'm telling you, that's where I'm at. I'm just like, I'd love to have a janitorial staff come in, but it just doesn't pencil out.
It doesn't, you know, because it's like, wait a minute here. These people are working, but they're not producing anything. Yeah. And there's nothing that they're doing that I can sell. And it's like that the janitor stuff kind of has to fit in the fat. And if you don't have a ton of fat, then it's like, well, guess what? I'm the toilet guy.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Our staff is so good. It's like the best staff we've had. It's funny. One of the guys working for us, he's like, you always say that, Mike, every time. And I'm like, no, you guys are good, but no one's jumping up to volunteer to clean those toilets. So there's always something else they find to do when it's slow.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's how it works. So you've got Standout Promotions, and you've either coming on your 20th year now, or because that started.
We started in 2006.
What was the name of it when it started?
Well, we started. It was called Core Apparel, like COEUR, like Coeur d'Alene. Core Apparel, and boy, it was fun. We kind of penciled it out. We were on a float trip in Montana, and we were talking about, you know, just starting a little apparel company with. We started with one embroidery machine, and we had a shop in the back of our house that we built, and we just pumped out shirts, and then we kind of grew out of that. We ended up at the airport over in Coeur d'Alene in a little area. We were there a couple of years, and we kind of grew that out, and then we found a place that we're at now, and we just blew up after that. I mean, it's that location, you know, and we just kind of we changed the name. Because we wanted to do more than apparel. We do print, we do car wraps, graphic design. We kind of do everything. We become the one-stop shop. Yeah, I know a lot of sign shops in town, and I know a lot of T-shirt shops in town, but I don't know a lot of them that do everything that we do. It's been good. We always try to just make our customers happy and give them everything that they need without jumping around. But yeah, it's fun, and you know, we get to collaborate with good people and help businesses. And a lot of times it comes down to small businesses going, well, you've been in business a while, Mike. What would you do if you were me? And it's great because, you know, we're all trying to help each other in this world. We're trying to, us business people, we're trying to make it. I was helping a girl and her dad yesterday. They're beautiful people. And I was like, I looked at her P&L and she never really looked at her profit and loss statement. And I said, man, you're doing it. And she goes, yeah, but I don't have a lot of money. Yeah, none of us do. I mean, we're all trying to get there, but I think there's also a misconception that you start a business and you don't work very much and you got lots of money and you take lots of vacations, and ultimately that's where we want to go, right? But it's just a lot of it's just you grind, and when you get tired, you grind a little more.
Yeah, it's interesting because there is the perception when you see someone, especially someone that's been in business for 20 years or whatever, and I know that my wife and I own Beaumont. I mean, it's pretty much her business. But people will be like, "Oh man, it must be so nice to have this business." And they're like, "Well, you haven't really seen the literal working all night long, taking a 2-hour nap like at 2 or 3 in the morning just to get enough energy to get back at, because you're building dressing rooms or you're laying carpet, or which I don't lay carpet." That's
you do it when you need to.
You do it when you need to, when you don't have enough money to, or lay tile or whatever it is. And it's the grind. And then when you don't know what you're going to do, you grind some more.
Yeah. And I always talk to businesses like you guys that have been in it like me. And we went through 2 really big things, right? We went through the 2008, 2009 housing debacle, where we all went from, pretty good little businesses to, the valve didn't get just twisted a little bit. It was like turned off. Yeah. Right. And back then I had a roofing company and a irrigation company and core apparel. So we had 3 businesses, and we were just trying to figure out ways to get people to stay working. We literally knocked on people's door and we're like, "Hey, we do this and we do this and we do this. And if you need us to go to the dump, we'll go to the dump for you."
Yeah.
We were literally knocking on doors. And then when COVID happened, it's another big, event that we had to, I hate to use the term because it got overused, but we had to pivot, right? Yeah. We all had to pivot. We all had to figure out how to do things differently. And if you made it through those things, you get the resilience to keep it going. Because I know a lot of people that didn't.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I owed a supplier so much money in 2009. He would call me every day and he goes, "Hey, Mike, can I get the $12,000 you owe me?" And I said, "Hey, man, you could call me every day, but I don't have it. But here's what you do have. You have a guarantee that I will pay you every penny I owe you." And when I finally paid him off, he goes, "You were the only person that paid me the money." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but we were all kind of trying to figure out how to get through it."
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely, and obviously in business, there's peaks and valleys. There's times where it's like, "Oh my goodness, I think I figured it out." And then something happens and then it's like, "Oh, well, I need to regroup or pivot or whatever it is," because, desires or needs or customer, what they need is different. It's changed, it just happens.
I'm just kind of laughing because you'll appreciate that. It's, that feast or famine. Sometimes we're just, everything's great, right?
Yeah.
And then the famine comes and you're like, "Wow, I wish I would have stored away a few more nuts for this season." But we just, we keep on grinding.
Totally. During a conversation, I just kind of pivot, if you will. A Mullen guy, you've kind of not left your home. You've got something gone up in Mullen, right?
Yeah. About 10 years ago, the only convenience store in town went out of business, and we've known the family. I used to go buy Bazooka Joe bubblegum from them when I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And they kind of closed the doors, and we went to the mother and we just said, "Hey, what will it take for us to get this running?" And she had a number, and we didn't try to lowball her. We just said, "Yeah, whatever you need." And I spent 30 days writing a business plan, and I had several business people that I admire, like Jen's dad, who just has so much business acumen that he looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, I think you should do it." I'm like, "Good enough for me." We started that, partners with my cousin. We have a doctor friend. He's a partner. And then my parents, they threw in some money. And yeah, we've just been grinding away up there for 10 years. We built an RV park and we have a couple recreational cabins. And yeah, it was a fun project. I don't spend very much time up there anymore. I've got to give all the credit to Don Kochevar and Gigi. They're up there running the place. Yeah, it's just a good little business. In fact, the power outage a while back, remember when the power went out?
Oh, yeah.
Went all the way to Missoula. Nobody had fuel, but we bought a generator a couple years ago to keep that whole place running. And we had lines. We were selling 1,000 gallons every 70 minutes of fuel.
Holy
and,
Toledo.
People people didn't, needed food. I mean, everybody from this whole Silver Valley and on into St. Regis, people were coming our way. But yeah, it's kind of the little lifeblood of that town, that little business. Just been a great little business.
I'm sure because I told you, my daughter and I, we hiked Lone Lake.
Yeah,
which might be my new favorite hike. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many
I'm
good
sure
lakes.
we stopped at your convenience store, and I didn't even know that was yours.
Yeah, we're Sinclair branded, so.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
it's the only one in town.
Yeah, and we stopped at a convenience store in Mullen, so that's got to be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, boy, as we're kind of, wrapping this up.
Wow, that went by quick.
Oh, it's
I could talk
quick.
forever.
Oh,
man.
and I could do this forever, but I try to make sure that, my goal is that people can tune into the podcast and either listen to it on a drive somewhere or something and get some info out there or whatever. But, be able to consume it without I need to set aside 2 hours of my day or whatever. But, and kind of a big question, but over your last 20 years in business, I mean, from this sprinkler company to Standout Promotions to convenience store, just business ventures. What would be maybe the two biggest successes that you feel like, okay, sometimes I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but man, I think I nailed these couple things down. If I had to do it over again, I would do these two things again. What would those be?
Well, one is, and everybody that's ever even been in business knows me for this, but one is just having a good plan. I mean, it's your roadmap, right? And I think there's so many people out there that want to start businesses and they don't because they don't really know how to get started. In fact, I've started a couple businesses, this roofing company. It was a great story because it went to a guy that worked for me. He's like, hey, can I buy into it? And he ended up buying half. And then the next year, he's like, is there any way you would sell me the other half? But he just needed a little nudge, right?
Yeah.
And we had a good plan.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just a big guy in planning. And then the other thing with that is, seeking good counsel, people that have been doing it. We like
great advice.
Guys like us that have been in business, we like sharing information. I mean, it's not top secret. I mean, I even have competitors that come to me and say, hey, I ran out of this certain material. Is there any possible way you would sell me this piece of vinyl? And I'm like, oh, here, man, just come get it. Just give him a piece. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, we're all in it together, man. But the other thing, if you're not connected to God, I mean, the Bible says, seek first the kingdom and all things will be given unto you. We just try to beat ourselves up doing things all the time. And sometimes I just have to go, God, I can't do this, man. I just need you to do. I can't tell you how many times I was in a hole tapping a mainline water line and I couldn't get the pieces to fit and the water was off. And I'm like, God, I can't do this. And then I give it one more try, bam, everything fits. Or I'm in a business bind and Lord, I don't know how we're going to get the $20,000 that we need to make payroll this week. Bam, something happened. When I forget that, Jen has to whisper to me, hey, seek first the kingdom. Seek first the kingdom.
Oh, dude.
So that's where my head's, and I think there's a lot of people curious about Jesus and it's almost like a business. Like they don't really know where to start. We have great churches in our community. A lot of them, right? Just walk in the door and have a greeter with a smile, just shake their hand and just give it a try. What church you go to? I go to Compel.
One
Beautiful.
place.
One
with the
place.
buns.
Yeah, with David and Renell. And, we just kind of went in there and became part of that family.
Yeah.
And it was so
good
great.
People. Good people.
But, if anybody's listening, just get out and find Jesus because he's there to meet you.
Good words. It's funny you say when you said, seek first kingdom of God and these things will be added to you. I haven't ever been a tattoo person, but I think, I'm 55 now. When I was probably 52-ish, I got the tattoo on my arm that is Matthew 6:33.
Okay, when you put this together, you need to show the tattoo so I could see that.
Because I needed to remember for myself because I'd like to say some of the time, but always, I just try to figure things out. And then I'll be like, okay, God, I can't figure it out. Maybe, can you give me a hand? Instead of seek God first.
I know.
I'm going to seek God like after A, B, C, D, E don't work, then maybe I'll talk to God. And I got to remind myself constantly, just, man, why don't I go to God first? And the rest of the stuff.
We do it the hard way. We fall on our face, then we ask. It's like, hopefully as we get older and wiser, we seek him first. Yeah.
I'm getting older. I don't know if I'm getting wiser.
You are.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. So basically, I mean, and I'm going to take that because I usually ask people for, a sense of like, is there one piece of advice or whatever? But I think you kind of gave that advice I think that was the advice, man. If you don't know God, find God. And the crazy thing about God is he's always relentlessly pursuing us.
Yes.
It's not like we have to go looking far. He's not trying to hide.
Yes.
And it's like, man, if you literally, it's God, here I am, and bada bing. I mean,
and just know that we're not going to give up anything. We're going to just be enriched by him. I mean, the trade-off is so much better. I mean, as business people, we're constantly doing this cost-benefit analysis, and we're like, oh, should I do it? Or, you don't have to think that hard. You just have to know that if you go pursue him, you will be enriched, and all things will be given unto you, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, good words. And man, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
It's been a blast. I love what you're doing. It's so good. Yeah, just keep doing it. I know you're just growing your audience, but it's just beautiful.
Trying to figure it all out.
You're doing it.
Yeah, good deal.
It's like your business. You just got to grind away, right?
You got to. Yeah, I'm kind of you're a real good planner. I'm kind of a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. So okay. I remember my first guest that I had on the podcast. I was like, I said, hey, man, I'd love to have you as a guest on the podcast. I go, you do a podcast? And I go, well, kind of. Kind of. I'm doing a podcast, but I don't have any listeners, and I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'd love to have you as a guest. And they were like, sure, I'll do it. And that's really how it started. And it wasn't like I was, had this grand master
If you were
plan.
like an engineer, you would still be planning it, but you would never actually get it off the ground. You'd still be in the planning.
Probably.
So I like the ready, fire, aim approach sometimes. I think that's okay.
Good deal. Well, hey, sometimes it works, and sometimes, and then I try to figure out, okay, where did I misfire, and what do I need to correct, and so sometimes it takes me a while, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, it's great, man.
Good deal. Well, hey, man, thanks so much for your time and listening to us, and share this with somebody, and give a comment and tell us what you think, and if you have some way that I can improve, man, tell me. I have thick skin, man. Just tell me what's going on, and I'll try to figure this out better. Thanks again. We'll talk to you later. See you next Wednesday, 9:00. Bye-bye.